My wife has banned my children from my first marriage from our house because they refuse to call her mommy. Now she can sleep in the dumpster because I'm kicking her out. I know I screwed up a lot and now a lot of people are paying the price for my mistakes. I was married to my first wife for just over 10 years. I'm a professional tradesman and won a national level award and was given a trip to Orlando by my company. For some, God only knows the reason. The person they chose to send with me was the boss's daughter, who was 22 at the time, dumb as soup, and very country hot. Well, because I am a piece of human garbage with no character, not only did I sleep with her, but she got pregnant. Of course, my wife promptly left me, taking the 3 kids with her. She has since met a really great widower, who I thank God and Jesus for being in my first kids' lives. My boss, being the Southern Pentecostal blowhard that he is, demanded that I make an honest woman of his daughter, so we got married. We now have 2 kids of our own. The oldest and youngest of my first 3 are great kids, bookish, athletic, and very polite. My daughter, middle, is a great kid in her own right, but she has a tongue like a whip and has absolutely no tolerance for bullshit. She decided early on that my wife had 2 places in her world. The pay no mind list or my life is only to make your life hard. She convinced her brothers that they should never call my new wife mom, but rather by a very insulting Pammy. This wasn't too big of a deal because my wife would usually go to her parents or her friends when my kids came over. But now my 2 younger kids are getting old enough to know what's going on, and they too have started to call my wife Pammy. They both adore my daughter. Well, this has sent my wife into near rages, as not only is she not respected by her stepkids, but her own children are already showing signs of not respecting her. Little edits here because I typed so fast I left out the stuff about my father-in-law, without my knowledge, and when I was in another state, she said she was going to take all the kids to Chuck E. Cheese for a late B-Day party, which she did. But what really happened is the younger 2 ran around the arcade with a sitter while she and her father sat the 3 older kids in a corner of the restaurant and harassed them for not being respectful and talked to them about what the Bible said about respecting parents. She then told them straight out that they had to start calling her mommy or they were not allowed to come over. My daughter instantly got on the phone with her stepdad, and had it not been for his level-headedness, there would have been an all-out catfight in the middle of the bossier city Chuck E. Cheese. He took the 3 older kids home and they have not been back over since. I am employed by my father-in-law and have kids with my current wife, so just up and leaving is not an option. I can never make older kids give in to my new wife after this was how she chose to handle the situation. Yet, I understand her point about needing to be respected by her own kids, and understand how my daughter is not helping the situation. Update: so I took a lot of hate from that thread and probably deserved most of it. The key though was that someone recognized some particulars from my story and contacted me via PMs. We talked on the phone and so much of what he was saying made sense. I got off the phone with him and ordered a DNA test for the kids from my second marriage. It turns out the first kid from my second marriage is absolutely not mine. The second child is. They both strongly resemble their mother, but because of the circumstances of me and their mom hooking up, I've always had a nag in the back of my head that something was not right. However, I do love the little boy. I've raised him this far and don't want to screw him over because of mistakes she and I made. So I put that in my back pocket and resolved to get my first kids welcome back in the house and figure out some resolution to our debt problem and a way to get under the thumb of my father-in-law. First and foremost was getting my first 3 kids welcome in my house again. I got the DNA results back Monday, but like I said, I resolved to not bring them up with my wife. However, when I said that my first 3 were going to be let in the house and that I would talk to them about respecting her better, she went irate. She called them every single name in the book that she could, like emphers, and my 10-year-old daughter the C word. In her rage, she even went into my daughter's room in our house and smashed some antique porcelain horses that my great-grandma had given to me to pass to my kids, among several other things. It was then that I just let her have it. I had printed off the results from the website and showed it to her and said this was my ticket out of the marriage. She broke down crying, saying that obviously I was making it all up, but as she went on, she admitted it was the truth and wanted to tell me who the father really was. I told her at the moment I didn't care. I told her that she needed to call her dad to come pick her up because she was not welcome anymore. She relented to this and didn't even try to take the 2 kids with her, which says a lot about her as a mother. Her dad and brothers showed up and some typical North LA rooster was strutting, but finally, they just packed her stuff up and took her. My father-in-law was the calmest of the bunch and said we would have to talk about my job in the morning when things had calmed down. I slept like a baby that night with both kids cuddled up to me in my bed and made plans for all 5 kids to go to dinner with me on Tuesday night. On Tuesday morning I walked into work and my father-in-law, who was a big burly guy, looked like a defeated man. I assumed I was fired, but he actually said that he couldn't bear to lose me as an employee. He had suspected the truth about his grandkid for a long time. I told him that I needed the week off at least and I would think about the job, but that obviously since I wasn't married to his daughter things would have to be different. He said that was fine. In the meantime, I've put out feelers to competitors to see what they may be able to offer me. I feel I'm in a great negotiating position either way. So dinner with the 5 kids last night was great. Without my wife around, all of us got along and joked and had a great time. My ex-wife and her husband showed up about halfway through by pure chance and I asked them to join us, and the 3 adults had a nice time with each other, which had also been impossible with my new wife around. Yes, I have a long road ahead of me, and I have no idea what the future is going to be if the father of my 4th child does show up. Lots of things need to be hashed out. Lots and lots of unanswered questions about the future of my family and work. So far in 2 days my new, but soon-to-be ex-wife has not called, emailed, texted, or tried to stop by the house to see her kids. I have no idea where she is.